All right, good morning. Happy Easter to those who celebrate. Happy 420 to those who celebrate. And happy Sunday to everyone. Nick Marro here with DFS Jayhawk, as always, to help you break down today's NBA DFS main slates on both DraftKings and FanDuel. Pretty fun one yesterday, pretty similar slate today, just different teams, four games, playoffs, games that actually matter, shorter rotations. We don't have to talk about these guys that are G Leaguers that probably shouldn't even be in the league. Not a bunch of guys resting for no reason. Jayhawk, first of all, shouts out on the McDaniels call yesterday. That was an elite one. We got a lot right. Also, a lot that didn't go so right. I'm pretty happy with the low on Jokic and Gordon calls, but yeah, Portis definitely killed us both. And I had another one that really killed me. Gobert got in foul trouble early. That was a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, saw a few decent screenshots in the Discord. Hopefully, we can get a little bit closer to the top of the leaderboard today. Jayhawk, what's your initial takes on this one? And just, yeah, happy holidays, man.
Yeah, happy holidays, happy Easter, happy 420, like you mentioned, to all my weed smokers out there. Also, be responsible. Be responsible. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, looking at this slate, yeah, fun slate. We have SGA here in the first game, and then really fun games today. Obviously, Cavs and Heat later. So excited to break this one down. Have a couple of hot takes today, so I want to hear your thoughts. But yeah, let's get it, man. Fun slate.
Yeah, man. Just pulling up all the gang here. We got Jose, Unicorn Heath saying what's up. Martez saying happy Easter, everyone. Jose saying where do we begin? We're gonna go game by game, team by team. I think that's the best way to go, and we will have time to do builds on both sites, which should help us kind of drive our construction. Hey guys, what's the best position to pay up for today? I mean, first look, I think it's guard. Three of the top four guys in OF Index are guards. We got SGA, Mitchell, Curry, but that could change if the best value is also at guard. So we're gonna have to kind of talk through it. Jayhawk, any initial thoughts on construction? I've only hand built a couple just to mess around, but I don't know that I have a great feel for things yet. It seems like it might be another day to go balance.
Yeah, I think it's pretty balanced. We have a couple, decent value pieces with Gary Payton. Moses Moody is pretty high on the model, so you can definitely go more stars and scrubs if you want to. But I think for the most part, like you mentioned, probably more balance.
Yeah, and Eli does bring up a pretty good point here. So yesterday we had all like 2 3 point spreads. Three of the four with double digit spreads today. How do you stack? I mean, if you wanted to game stack the close game, I get it. And that's going to be the Warriors at the Rockets. That game is a pretty low total though, 212. So I don't know. It's the playoffs. You have to think these games are a little bit more competitive than they would be regular season, even if things are getting a little bit out of hand, like we saw with the Lakers for a while last night. They're probably going to play guys into most of the fourth quarter, just trying to keep things interesting, close, etc. I mean, this is the playoffs. But yeah, I don't think we need to build into too many blowouts today. Are you worried about blowout in any of these games? I don't think I am really.
Yeah, I'm not too worried. The only game I would even have a slight concern would be OKC. But yeah, I mean, I think Memphis can keep it closer.
Yeah, Memphis has played them well most of the season, if I'm recalling that correctly. Orlando, Boston, another wide one, but I don't know. Boston takes so many threes. If they're falling, they're going to blow anybody out. If they're not, they're going to be competitive against anyone. So we'll get into that game in just a few. First game on the slate, though, today. Um, let's go ahead and get into this one. We got the Grizzlies taking on the Thunder. Like you said, 230 point total. That spread floating around 9 10 points. I don't have it up right now, but I have the money lines up for whatever reason. Is what it is. But yeah, let's start on the Memphis side. A team that has been banged up most of the season, obviously going to be healthy now for the playoffs, but no Jalen Wells, no Gigi Jackson, no Brandon Clark. Wells had been starting. It's not really like he's been a huge part of this rotation, though. I'm seeing most projected starting lineups actually have Pippen in there next to Morant. Pippen kind of feels like Kevin Porter Jr. yesterday, right? Like one of the more obvious value plays, probably safe. We have him for 30 minutes if he starts, especially. And even if he doesn't, I'm not really too concerned about it. Definitely, probably my favorite play from Memphis here, going to be a core play for me. Jaw a little bit cheaper than some of the other top guard options. Bain looks fine. Jackson, I all season or late in the season have been saying since they fired their coach, Jaw's been playing more minutes. I was kind of cutting into the upside of guys like Bain and Jackson, but both sites did lower their prices, more so DK. Both are sub 8K now, which I do like to see. Cheap enough for me to consider. Zach Eady, late in the season, came to life. life. Not the best matchup for him. Really struggled against this team, I think, the last few times they played, but on a short slate, certainly has some upside. But yeah, Jayhawk, not to ramble through this whole team, but I do really like Pippen as chalk. I don't feel so great about Edie. I'm fine mixing in the big three. Aldama's okay off the bench. Don't know that I get there aggressively. And if you're desperate for value, I think Conchar makes some sense. I can't say it feels entirely safe though, but for me, gonna have a ton of Pippen, probably be under the field on Edie, and I'll mix in the rest for sure. But how are you gonna handle the Grizzlies?
Nick, we couldn't have started out any more aligned here. I do not like Edie today. I'm gonna be very underweight. I just think he gets most of his points in the obviously the restricted paint area, and OKC is top tier at defending that. So I'm
Mhm.
not very high on Edie, especially if he's gonna be chalky. So love that shout there. And then Scottie Pippen, man, I agree. 4,900. He's 50% on FanDuel, only projected like 30% on DraftKings. I love Pippen today. Against OKC, I think he can still play good. So I love Pippen today. It's a perfect matchup for him. Well, not perfect, but good game
Yeah,
tempo. I really like that call.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, he's good on defense. I mean, that's a big reason why he's been out there with these guys. But yeah, I mean, who else are you looking at here, though? I mean, we have some kind of mid-range payups. None of them really drawing ownership. Kind of feels. I was gonna say the Clippers, but Harden was chalky, so maybe not the Clippers yesterday. But we got Jackson, Morant, Bain. I think they're all fine. And I mean, I don't mind getting to a little bit of Aldama under the assumption that maybe Edie gets into foul trouble or he's struggling to defend in the paint. Maybe they do want a little bit more Aldama out there than usual. We have him for only 28 minutes. Doesn't look great in terms of value, but if he plays a little bit more, that could go a long way. So as a mid-range play, I don't mind him. If I'm picking from the big three, I actually think it might be Bane. I just think he's going to draw less defensive attention than the other two, but not super confident in any. But are you interested in mixing these guys in?
Yeah, so I think my favorite out of the rest, Jaw, Bane, and Jaren would probably be either Bane or Jaren. Jaw is fine. I prefer other guards on the slate overall. And then I love Aldama, especially yeah, you mentioned if Edie's in foul trouble. I just think they could need his scoring as well at the bench. So Aldama very good, I think, at his ownership.
Nice, man. Yeah, totally with you. Yeah, these guys have played somewhat competitively with this team. No one's really jumping out off the board in terms of fantasy production in this matchup, though. Obviously, OKC, one of the better defenses in the entire NBA. The good thing is they do play fast, though, kind of like the Bucks. Or the Bucks aren't a good example this year, but in years past, really good defense, but the pace is high, so it almost helps opponents more than it hurts them. But on the OKC side of things here, Nikola Topic been out for the year. Still crazy that he's not even involved on this team. And then Jang, not a player who's going to be suiting up today. So yeah, other than SGA, I mean, the ownerships, I mean, even including SGA, seem pretty reasonable here. Jalen Williams, a little bit more popular than I was expecting to be on FanDuel at 8,200. I think it's a fair price, though. He looks fine to me. Really comfortable mixing these guys in. It is interesting to me to see how popular Caruso is. We only have him for 18 minutes. He did play 26 against Phoenix, but they were resting guys that game, dating back to early March or late March, actually. He did get over 20 minutes back to back games, over 30 fantasy points, but I don't really know what to expect from him here. I think the training wheels are off. Like, they're not going to be conservative in the playoffs in terms of what he's getting for playing time. But if we're correct on this projection, he's way overowned. So it's kind of a tricky spot for Caruso. Definitely going to be interested in your take on him. I imagine you're getting to some SGA, but yeah, break down these guards and just the rest of the Oklahoma City Thunder for me.
Yeah, so starting out with Caruso, yeah, I'm not getting there. I mean, the model kind of agrees with us. 11.9 DK value for Caruso here. I think he's just overowned, just to put it bluntly. He's okay. Like they probably will need him in for defense, but he's definitely a guy I want to be underweight on. And then SGA is kind of my biggest stand today. I love him today. I think we have enough value to get up to him, and this is just a fantastic spot for him. Game one, probably looking to light it up. So I love SGA in tournaments at that ownership. So he's like one of my biggest hints today.
Yeah, they played a few games this season. I think three of the four he was over 55 fantasy points. End of December, he got 63 in 28 minutes. He's done really well in this matchup. So I'm with you, man. I think SGA is under-owned. Really, really do like getting to him as a pay up. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, though. Definitely don't want to get to too much Caruso the more I think about it. I think Case and Wallace might be a decent pivot on DK at very, very low ownership. 3,900 for him is a decent price over there. FanDuel 52, probably can't do that. Dort is Dort. He's got a high ceiling, low floor. I don't know. Kind of feels like trying to compare him to someone from yesterday. Uh, Maybe a Jaden McDaniels if he gets off from three. But yeah, man, I don't know if you like Dort much here today. I don't think he's going to be as aggressive on offense as we saw McDaniels. It's funny, the Lakers were like, oh, if you're going to beat us, you got to beat us on the wing with these threes from your secondary players. And McDaniels just said, all right, bet. I got you guys. And they pretty much cooked from there. But yeah, any interest in Dort today? I mean, similar price range. I don't love him, but I didn't love McDaniels either. So yeah, feel free to talk me into him if you want to.
I don't like love him as much as I like McDaniels, but at 4,300, I do like him, especially as a pivot to Caruso here. They're going to
Mhm.
need his defense out there, I think, against John Morant. So, yeah, I like that call. The guy I do want to talk about, though, I forgot to mention him, Chet Holmgren. He's a guy that I really want to play today, especially if he's going to be loaned. He seems too cheap. Did you have a different take? Are you overweight on Chet? What's your take here?
I'm pretty neutral on him. I think he's solid. At the same time, it's like as bad as Edie's done in these matchups, the bigs for OKC haven't been like really doing great either. It's like these teams just play so fast in transition. I think he's good, like at the price, and I do think he could play more minutes than he had been in the regular season. But yeah, I'm proceeding with some caution. And again, I hate to bring these things up because we're dealing with such small samples of data. But the last two games that Memphis played OKC, it was actually Hartenstein to have the really good games. 29 minutes and 28 minutes went for 40 plus in the last two games against this team. So I'd have to dig a little bit deeper. I think Chet was in for both of those, though. So while I do like Chet, I do think he's under owned. I also want to bring up Hartenstein. I think he's maybe just as good. The only issue is we can only play him at center.
Yeah,
So
I like that call. Yeah,
yeah,
Hardenstein definitely
so
benefits. Yeah.
yeah, the bigs are both good here for sure. I do like Hardenstein a little bit more, but it's not based on too much data. So take that with a grain of salt. Through the first game, though, let's check out the chat, see what we got going on here. What stud are we likely to fade? I mean, it's probably Tatum for me, just because the Celtics have so many mouths to feed. How about you? Any studs jumping off the table or jumping off the page? I mean, the field's not getting there either, though, so it's kind of tricky.
Yeah, I was gonna say either Tatum or Steph. I was really high on Steph in his last spot, but this matchup's much tougher here.
Yeah, Brooks is going to be glued to him being obnoxious. If he doesn't get teched out, he's probably going to be in a tough matchup there. We'll see. It is Steph. He can get it off on anyone. Unicorn saying Van Fleet 6,200 on FanDuel. I like it. A little bit too cheap. He does have a wide range of outcomes, not always super aggressive on offense, but I don't know. It's a weird comparison. I kind of feel similar about Van Fleet as I do as like a Russell Westbrook in fantasy at this point in their careers. And yeah, we saw yesterday the ceiling's there, and Van Fleet's minutes are better and safer. So he does check some boxes for me. Any interest in Van Fleet for you, Jayhawk? I know we'll get to that game in a bit.
Yeah, he's okay. He's kind of taken a step back just in overall fantasy this year, but he's still fine if you want to mix him in tournaments.
Cool, cool. Here's one for you. I'll give you this one, then I'll take the next one because Jose asked me about centers. But thoughts on SGA and John together on DK? I don't love it, but it sounds like you were just low on John in general. But how would you kind of handle that?
You can definitely still do that. You get the correlation there, especially if it's going to be super close. But Jaw, I'm not as high, and I just think we have a bunch of really good like mid tier and value guards. So that's just kind of why.
Yeah, we did see game going to overtime yesterday. Like if you're stacking and you land on the 1 out of 4 games that goes to OT, it is going to help you. It's just the likelihood of that happening isn't very high, especially if you're picking 1 out of 4. So, like again, it makes sense if you're playing a bunch of lineups to do some stacking for sure. But
Yeah.
maybe if you're playing one lineup, don't necessarily bank on it. Jose is asking me to rank my favorite centers here. I'm guessing FanDuel, but we'll take a quick look. It's tough today. Let's see here. Sorting by value real quick. I think Hartenstein, the minutes are a little scary to me. He might be first. Sengun looks really good. Those two probably are 1 and 2 for me. Then to get weird, maybe some Aldama. But Jayhawk, any hot takes at center before we go into this next game?
Yeah, so I like
Same
what's up?
question for T Eds here. Same question for
Uh,
Teds. So
I like Allen actually the most. I think point per dollar combining safety and floor. So Allen's my favorite, and then I love Sengun in tournaments if you can get up to him. I think this Golden State front court is very very bad.
yeah, I don't mind the Allen call. He definitely feels too cheap. I mean, if you have the salary to get up to Mobley, I do think he's safer, but it's a big price difference, so it's going to be tough to get there. And yeah, Jose saying rank for DK. It really is the same for both sites right now, Jose. But as we start to build, I think what we're going to find today is that we're prioritizing certain guys at other positions we really, really want to get into our lineups. One SGA, which is going to make it a little bit tougher to pay up at center. So maybe while I'm sitting here talking about how much I like Mobley and Sengun, someone like Hartenstein or Allen are going to kind of climb these rankings because of lineup construction. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, we got some good options today. I don't think there's one that really stands out in a huge way off the page, but we'll get there. And yeah, it's right there with you. Positions, cheeks, and Jose saying no ring for DK. But appreciate you guys. Great questions as always. Let's get into the next game here, though. We got the Orlando Magic taking on Boston. Another one of these wide spreads. Very low total, 205 points. Magic only projected to score 96 points here, which is pretty insane for a playoff team. Celtics defense is elite, though, so got to keep that in mind. Taking a quick look at the injury report. Jalen Suggs is out. Mo Wagner's out. That's it on either team. So really nothing we need to dig too deep to in as far as that goes here. So taking a look at the Magic, Wendell Carter, speaking of centers, I think he does have a ceiling. It's just a terrible matchup. The price is tempting at the same time. I don't feel great about it. He played 21 minutes against Boston on the 9th of April, only had 13 fantasy points. Trying to go through and see if we have any other games this season. Played a little bit better in January, where that game was actually competitive to get up to 30 fantasy points. I think Goga was out for that one, though, so maybe a little bit too high of expectation there for going off that game. But yeah, not much here for me from Orlando. I will say, just thinking about how these teams are going to be competing, if they're going to hang in this game, they're going to need to hit threes. So if I'm playing Orlando, it's going to be guys that are going to take threes. I think Franz and Paulo, the two most likely candidates for that, obviously. Um, and then I guess maybe KCP. Like, if this game's going to be close, they're going to need to be draining some shots. I don't know who can really take him on this team, unfortunately, which is why it's such a tough matchup, why we're seeing such a wide spread. But I guess Paulo Franz for me, I don't mind mixing in. I do think KCP is kind of a sneaky upside play, though. I do want to kind of give him a shout for that reason because, again, they need to shoot threes. They need to make threes to be competitive. Anthony Black finished the season strong. Cole Anthony is back, though. I'm not confident in their minutes coming into the playoffs if they're both healthy. So yeah, it's risky, but I don't mind taking a few KCP shots today. And yeah, I'll definitely have some Paulo and Franz. How about you?
Yeah, Orlando definitely an interesting team here. Obviously, you mentioned tough matchup, big spread here in Boston. So I think overall, Paulo and Franz are both fine at their ownerships. I don't know how much I'll get there overall, but they're still blown. And then the guy I wanted to shout out here off the bench, I think we can maybe see Anthony Black if they need scoring. Maybe they could bring him in, hit a couple threes. That'd be the other guy outside of KCP I think they could bring in. So I think like a deep, deep tournament shot, you could come to like a guy like Anthony Black, hoping that they bring him in for scoring. So, but other than that, I don't love much here from Orlando.
Yeah, I mean, Corey Joseph probably going to continue to start at point guard. Just doesn't do much offensively, which makes him tough to get to. He is cheap, but yeah, I don't feel great about it. I'm with you though. I don't mind Black. I think KCP is a very similar play. The model does slightly prefer KCP, but I think if you have one or the other in your lineup, if you're playing Celtics especially and you want this game to stay close, it does make some sense to use them as value. But again, risky value if you're not getting too much of this game. Maybe a spot to just avoid. On the Boston side, again, no injuries, which makes this a difficult team to get to, right? So we have Drew, we have White, we have Brown, we have Tatum, we have Porzingis. We also have Horford coming off the bench. So yeah, will one of these guys go for 50 fantasy points today? Probably. Will it be Tatum? Will it be Porzingis? Will it be Brown? I don't know. In that order, that's probably how I'd rank them, with Derek White coming in fourth. But at the price, I do think White's probably the easiest to get to from this group. I do think probably two or three of these guys hit value. Maybe one or two end up optimal, even in a low total environment. I'm just always struggling to get to the Celtics. when they're 100% healthy. Tatum low, probably the best bet to hit his ceiling. But again, I think if we're paying up, I'd much rather get SGA. So it's tricky, man. Any Celtics for you today?
Yeah, so I don't know, man. Boston, I think they're all you mentioned it good. Like they all could get there. Tatum obviously the most likely to, but yeah, I mean Tatum probably is my main play here. If you're getting there, but it's just a tough spot. Orlando obviously slower paced team, lower total. So yeah, it's just a tough spot here for Boston. Not much to add here.
Yeah, one guy I will shout is Drew Holiday. Kind of played limited minutes at times during the regular season. I think in the playoffs he's going to be good to go for 30 plus consistently. Will he be the guy getting usage and taking shots? I don't know. But actually, in a slow paced game like this, that could play to him a little bit. So I don't mind maybe taking a few shots on Drew at low ownership the more I think about it. It's tough for me to want to pay 7, 8, 9, 10K for these guys. Again, not knowing who's going to be the one to really emerge from the pack. They're all viable, but yeah, maybe some Drew. Um, but yeah, again, not the best game here. Take a quick look at chat, and then we'll get into the Heat at the Cavs. Uh, Appreciate you guys being here again on a holiday. We'll go a little bit deeper into center, guys. And yeah, Sengun, not the best spot for him. Um, yeah, I mean, again, the minutes in the regular season have been tricky for some of these guys. We just talked about Drew. I think Sengun's similar. Sometimes they kind of want to limit him, but if he's getting his lunch taken in this matchup, it's a terrible matchup. You're right. Maybe he does end up limited. Kadiri, the way I'll answer this question at the end of the video, we're going to do a build. We'll kind of talk through the plays that are top priorities. The first guys we get into these quote unquote dummy builds are usually the guys that we consider core. Swerve bringing up an interesting one though. Jonathan Isaac, is he maybe someone we could see a little bit more involved? Another one of these guys who plays limited minutes in the regular season. Really good fantasy point per minute producer though. I'm not confident in him, if I'm being completely honest. But at the same time, I mean, if you want to take a shot on something cheap and forward, I don't think it's crazy. Let me see if we have any minutes for him. But while I look him up, Jayhawk, any interest in Isaac for you? 17
Yeah,
minutes we have him, which actually is pretty good.
yeah. I mean he's a good producer. Good. I mean healthy minute projection. I have him just like right below projected value. I think he's okay. I wouldn't say he'd be like a must by any means, but if you landed on like last piece, I don't think it's like the craziest play. No, not at all.
Nice. Yeah, I kind of feel the same. I don't hate it. Again, wide range of outcomes. But yeah, someone who can maybe still get some minutes if the game were to blow out too. So maybe a little bit of a floor for that reason. Um, And yeah, Tia heads. It is one of these slates where maybe we just get to Dre and hope that he gets his 30 fantasy points, and that's all we need. Um, yeah, tough spot here for Blacker Cole. Appreciate the comments, fellas. Yeah, and the reason for this unicorn is they're so reliant on the threes. So, like, if the threes aren't falling, teams stay close. But if they are, they could blow any team in the league out. It makes it pretty interesting. Better than Caruso. Yeah, I mean, logic would say he's going to be more involved in the playoffs. Field getting to him heavily, though. I gotta trust the model at least for the first game or two. We have him at 18 minutes. If that's all he's playing, probably no. Good segue here. Um, Joseph, disagree with the Pippen thing. I mean, he's been excellent in these games that have mattered for Memphis. They were playing in the play-in. They were really trying to force their way into the playoffs here, and he looked excellent. But I'm going to use Eli's comment here as a segue into Miami, a team who played in that play-in, taking on the Cleveland Cavs in Cleveland. Pretty wide spread here, not as wide as the first two games, 215-point total. Miami did look really good in the play-in round. I mean, take that for what it's worth, I guess. But Alec Burks, Highsmith, Jovic, Larson, all in the injury report, but available. Duncan Robinson available as well. Kevin Love will be out for personal reasons. What those reasons are, I'm not sure. Just hope all is well with him. Not that he'd be super involved anyway. Starting on the Miami side of things, though, Wiggins priced pretty much where he should be. Forward, not one of the easier positions to fill. I'm pretty comfortable getting to him. We saw big games out of Hero and Bam those last few weeks. A lot of those did come with Wiggins out of the lineup, though. So, I don't know. I'm proceeding with caution here. I do think it's a better matchup for Hero than it is for Bam. Obviously, very good front court, especially defensively with Mobley and Allen there. So yeah, I think I like Hero most of that big three, followed by Wiggins, then Bam. At the same time, Bam's Bam, and center sucks on the slate. He could probably still get his regardless. I know you were bullish on him the other day. Davion Mitchell, a little bit disappointing until overtime, where he went completely off and got you there in terms of value. Definitely a guy we could mix in. Alec Burks probably going to get the start. I don't like it because he's only playing 10 to 15 minutes, even as a starter. Unless he caught fire, I just don't really have much interest. So Miami's a tough team for me here, man. Obviously, a good matchup. A bad matchup defensively. What am I saying? Don't mind a little bit of Hero, more so on DK. I think Wiggins on both sides makes some sense. And then Mitchell more so on DK as well. I'm fine getting to. But again, just a tough team when they're healthy to really feel confident in anyone. Are you getting to many Miami Heat players this afternoon?
Yeah, so to start out with Davion Mitchell, last time did get bailed with him with a blowout. He hit 3 straight threes. So not going back there as heavily as I did the other night, but we'll start out with him. I think he's fine. Definitely a tougher spot here against this Cavs team. So I'll probably just be around the field, maybe slightly underweight on Davion today. And then Wiggins is probably my favorite point per dollar. Obviously, he's the chalkiest one here. So I think he looks great in tournaments. And then for the rest of Miami here, Highsmith coming off that huge game. I don't think anyone had that one in their books, but 8% owned. I think he's fine to get to. I think I'd rather get to him over a guy like Isaac that we mentioned earlier. But yeah, those are kind of the guys I was kind of looking at. Bam, I can't play Bam today in this spot. I do prefer other spend ups.
Yeah, I mean, Bam's probably going to struggle. I was going to say Khalil Ware's price is tempting, but it's a terrible matchup for him as well. Don't mind the Highsmith call. I am a little bit concerned that it's kind of chasey going after those points, but he's still so cheap that he doesn't really need to replicate that. He had 10 boards that game. Very different matchup, though. Atlanta team that plays really fast in transition. I think he kind of thrived there. 2 steals as well. So definitely some outliers numbers for a guy who had a 10% usage in that game to hit that type of ceiling. A little bit ridiculous, but again, there's not a ton that are players that are that cheap on the slate that we're projecting for 26 plus minutes. So I'm fine getting to them. I'm not even looking at chat. I'm guessing we're going to get questions about slow mo Kyle Anderson. It's a no for me personally. I would rather get to Highsmith. I don't really like Burks either. Um, but yeah, Highsmith for sure over him, and then Mitchell as well if I had to. But any interest in these like deep bench guys? Someone asked about Larson. I just don't think we can get to him. I don't think the minutes are safe. Um, yeah, if anything, it's Davion and Highsmith off the bench. I don't trust much else.
Yeah, no Larson for me to answer that. And then yeah, just the rest of the bench here, just very, I guess, risky per se. Obviously, Spoelstra's rotations are just very volatile. So yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much we nailed it.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, if Burks or like Robinson were to catch fire, he could let them play more minutes, but we can't really project him for that because,
Yeah,
yeah, wide range of outcomes. But at the same breath, like if you want to use these guys in large field tournaments, there is upside there. We have seen it at times. Over on the Cleveland side of things, no injuries. So another team sometimes kind of tough to get to when they're 100% healthy, but this is a pretty good matchup for them. They are priced more favorably than some of the other teams we have on the slate. You brought up Allen. Again, just kind of like a default good center play. He has a lower floor than a lot of starting centers in the league just because he isn't always involved on the offensive end. But I do think here at his price on DK, he makes a lot of sense, especially on a slate where we're lacking at the position. Donovan Mitchell looks good. I mean, he's kind of a neutral play for me. I'm definitely trying to get up to a ton of GA today. In doing that, it's kind of squeezing up these other guards in my exposures. Mobley going to be my favorite Cav today. I just really like him in general. I think he's always going to produce in terms of fantasy. One of the higher floors if you're paying into the 8K range. I mean, he's had some big games against this team this season too. So yeah, he just checks enough boxes for me to kind of mix him in. I don't mind Struce as like a last piece. Kind of feels like THJ yesterday who went off. So yeah, if you want to get to some Struce, definitely better on DK though. 5,300, a bit of a tough pill to swallow over on FanDuel. Hunter off the bench, limited minutes. Another guy you can mix in. I'm not confident in him, but I do think he has a ceiling. And then Ty Jerome, he's been a really good backup point guard all year. Nobody playing him today, understandably on FanDuel. 0% to him seems fine. I don't want to pay near 6K, but on DK, 4,500 for a little bit of Ty Jerome. If he gets a couple more minutes than the 19 we're projecting him for, I do think he looks like a half decent value play. He could be involved here if this game's close, could be involved if it were to get out of hand. So I don't mind Jerome or Struce as kind of tournament darts. Mobley, my favorite. Mitchell, Garland, Allen, all fine. I do think Allen's price on DK is too low, but go ahead and break down the Cavs for me, Jayhawk.
yeah, man. Absolutely love the Cavs today for DFS purposes. Nothing against Miami. I think obviously they're a great team, but obviously playing up to Cleveland here, it's a whole different boat. So I think Cleveland here overall, you mentioned Mobley. I think the whole starting five, including Strus, looks very good today. My favorites are also Mobley, Garland, Allen. Um, I'm not as high on Mitchell. I think it's just because of how much SG I'm getting to, but
Mhm.
those three I really like. And then I think Max Strus for value looks really good. 4K flat, dual position eligibility. So I like Strus as well. And then I love that Ty Jerome call. If you're not getting to Garland, like 2% owned, he always has a ceiling off the bench. So I mean, I think Cleveland looks great here overall. Did you have a different overall take with Cleveland?
No, yeah, I think again they're one of the better teams, mostly because of the pricing. I just think they're a little bit underpriced for what they can do. They run a pretty tight rotation, and yeah, I kind of glazed over it. I do think Hunter at his ownership is interesting at least. Like, am I confident in him? No, but if you're playing a bunch of lineups, probably someone you want to mix in. We have seen him spike a ceiling, especially sub 5K on DK. He makes a little bit of sense, but yeah, another good game. Swerve baby shouts out loving Highsmith today. Yeah, I mean he's fine to mix in, definitely good value. Even Ware will be good. I mean, they do need him out there, but he's out there against those Twin Towers, so it's kind of tough. But yeah, at the price, he looks fine. He came out really hot last game against Atlanta and then kind of cooled off in the second half, so don't mind it. Yeah, Mitchell looks fine. Definitely both Mitchells, Davion and Donovan. Jayhawk, you got this one yet? We got one more game to get to, but you got your low-owned play of the day?
Let's get through the last game. I'm still kind of trying to figure out who it's going to be today.
Okay. Yeah, at the end we'll call out some low on plays we both like. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a play is Sengun? Um Probably about a 7 or 6 even. And I only said 7 because center's bad. I don't love the matchup for him. Um but yeah, just because center's terrible, maybe like a 6.5 for me. How about you, Jayhawk?
Yep,
Sengun?
that's kind of where I was going to put it, 6 or 7.
Yeah, we rate him a little higher than Tiads here, who has him at a 1. Tiads also saying don't sleep on Jay Will either. Yeah, Jayhawk, you like him in these fast paced spots historically. I mean, this is one of those for sure, right?
Yeah, definitely a fast-paced matchup here, high total. So
Yeah, speaking of, I mean, not the highest total or the fastest pace, but we got another game. We got the Warriors taking on the Rockets here. 2 12-point total. Tightest spread on the slate, though, if you are someone who wants the game stack. Just keep in mind, some of the field is going to be thinking the same exact thing. Steph Curry and Gary Payton both available for the Warriors. No Jay Sean Tate or Jock Landell for the Houston Rockets, excuse me. So, interestingly, the most popular Warrior on FanDuel is Moses Moody. I don't know, man. I like the price. I like the minutes. At the same time, this guy barely breaks 20 fantasy points ever. So, like, is he useful if you're trying to get another pay up in your lineup? Sure. Do I think he's overowned though? Yeah. So I'll start there. I think Moody's overowned. I like mixing in Steph. Probably my favorite guard after SGA. That being said, I'm getting through so much SGA today. Don't know that I'm going to get to him all that aggressively. Brandon Paz' price came down on both sites. To me, he's the good chalk here. I don't like the Moody chalk. I do think Paz coming off a bad game against Memphis is probably going to bounce back. Totally fine getting to him. 5K feels way too cheap. We have him for 32 minutes. Even 6K on FanDuel, you can play him at either guard position. Totally fine mixing him in. Then we got Jimmy Butler when he actually cares about basketball. So yeah, DK price on him looks excellent. Probably my favorite Warrior on DK on FanDuel. A little bit trickier where he's 9,200. Definitely someone I want to mix in. I mentioned Gary Payton is going to be available today. Probably one of the first guys off the bench. Um, I don't know. I was going to say he's a good pivot off Moody, but he's so popular as well. Like, I'm fine with him. I think he's a little bit better point per dollar, but at the same time, like, what are we doing? Like, I don't know. 30% for him feels a little bit too heavy. I mean, almost 30 on DK feels a little bit too heavy to me. I like the Warriors. It's just I don't necessarily want to lean into anyone too heavily specifically. I do think Jimmy on DK makes a lot of sense. Again, someone brought it up. This might just be one of those Draymond at center slates. Usually we don't want to use these like hybrid power forward guys at center, but if you don't trust anyone, he's usually good for around 30 or so fantasy points. That might just be enough today on a limited slate. Jayhawk, tricky team to break down. Not the best matchup, but obviously a lot of upside. How are you going to handle the Golden State Warriors?
yeah, so you nailed it here. Pods from Golden State, probably my favorite play overall. He did shoot very bad last game. I think he shot like I don't know, 2 for 7 or something, but I
I'll pull
think
up.
he looks great here. that 5K here in a bounce back game. So like Pods a ton, has that dual position eligibility. And then Draymond Green also as well. You mentioned it. Great price. Probably my second favorite player overall from Golden State. And then between Modi, Moody and Payton, I think I prefer Payton as well for the price. I think Moody's still fine. Obviously, our model does really like Moody, so something to note here. But I do slightly prefer Gary Payton for the savings here.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm playing chalk, I think we're in agreement. It's pods over both of them. You mentioned it. 1 for 7 field goal attempts last game against Memphis. 1 for 5 from three. That's uncharacteristic for him. That's just terrible. His minutes were limited as a result. Yeah, only 3 real points for a guy who averages north of 10. That's just not very good. But yeah, man, I mean, not the best matchup, but I think we're aligned. Like, I'd rather kind of take the mid range plays here. Butler's price on DK, though, definitely tempting. If you compare him with SGA, probably my 2 favorite payups. Say that slowly because I'm not 100% sure that's true. But let's go over to the Rockets side of things. Again, no Jay Sean Tate or Jock Landell. Neither's been super involved in the rotation all year. Early in the show, we got Fred Van Fleet's name brought up. I mean, he's cheap. I think he's too cheap for what he's capable of. At the same time, there is some risk involved there. But at 11% on DK, man, good tournament play for sure. Getting to a little bit of Fred Van Fleet probably makes some sense. Sangoon, getting a ton of questions about him on a slate that's pretty bad at center. He did play 32 minutes, got 44 fantasy points against these guys last time out. Scrolling. I mean, 26 minutes, 34 fantasy points. So he's not been terrible, but the issue is the price, right? Like at 8K plus, you're kind of looking for 45 to 50 fantasy points. He really hasn't been doing that in the matchup. Back December 11th, if you want to go that far, he did get over 50 in 31 minutes, but shot crazy well that game. So maybe take that with a grain of salt. I think there were a few guys out there at that time as well. Van Fleet might have been one of them. Again, I'm trying to think back to December. Tough thing to do. Happy 420, everyone. But yeah, other parts of this team, I think my favorite play here is Jalen Green. I just think he's a little bit too cheap. We know he's going to be involved on offense. If this game does start to pick up in pace, he's going to be the one trying to match them bucket for the most part. So Green for me, probably my favorite. He's been shooting terribly. But yeah, I think he can turn it around here. It is a bounce back spot, in my opinion. Tari Eason off the bench, shouts out Chuck, maybe one of his favorite players all season. I think he's good at low ownership, actually. I think nobody's getting to him. Model doesn't love him, but we're talking about some gross value on this slate that's way more popular. A little bit more expensive than Moody. I know a different position, but someone I think you could use as a pivot. Then everyone's favorite player to hate, Dylan Brooks, kind of similar to Dort. Don't know how involved he'll be on the offensive end, but we do know he's playing a ton of minutes. So for that alone, I want to get to some Brooks. I think Van Fleet and Green probably my 2 favorites, but don't want them in the same lineup. Didn't talk much about Thompson. I'm fine with him. It's just 8K again. Like, do we really want to pay that for him when we have some of these other pay up options on the slate? I will say, I think I'd rather play Thompson than I would Sangoon here. But I don't know that I get to either, only playing a handful of lineups today, being 100% transparent. Jayhawk, Houston, another tricky team, definitely one we want to get to, but a little bit tough to kind of prioritize guys.
Yeah, for sure. Houston's just been a team all year. We've noted this. It's just they're a very good team. It's just kind of difficult to predict fantasy outcomes throughout the year. So I think point per dollar, you mentioned it, Jalen Green does stick out to me. 6,900 for Jalen here. Great price point. Probably my favorite click here overall from Houston. And then okay, I don't want to say I like Dylan Brooks, but I do like the value and the sit on the slate. 4,700 should be out there to guard Steph. So it's just more of a minutes things for me. So if he's going to be out there, he should be chucking a little bit. So I'd be fine getting to Brooks as well. And then the rest of the team here, they're all just tournament plays. Eamon Thompson, probably my favorite among the rest of the pack here. But yeah, just a tough team overall, kind of like Boston to predict.
Yeah, I mean Brooks has only had 1 out of 5 good games against this team this year, but he hates them. He talks about it all the time. Back to when he was with Memphis, and we always see the Draymond clip, and he's like, "Yeah, I'd hate us too if we beat you every year." So there's certainly some rivalry here. These guys are both hotheads. There is a world where one or both end up getting ejected, but it's the playoffs. You'd like to think these vets at this point know not to be doing dumb shit, but we've seen it before. So yeah, kind of is what it is. But yeah, guys, let's check out chat one more time, and we'll get to some dummy builds on both sites. We'll talk about our favorite values, things like that. Low on plays. I'm gonna hit refresh on the model once. while I take a look at chat here. And yeah, we'll wrap up for the day. Can we take backup Houston center today? Good question before we move on from this game. Steven Adams, man, he probably plays 15 minutes. I don't think it's crazy. Kind of feels similar to like a Jonathan Isaac. Um, and yeah, I mean, it is a decent spot where they probably want him out there at least for 15 to 20. Any interest in Adams for you? Not someone I was thinking of, but I appreciate whoever who brought this up here. Don Pla. Yeah, I don't hate it, but it'd probably take me a few lineups to get there, right?
Yeah, actually, the more I think about it, with how bad center is today, if you want to just like full punt, like I don't think it's the craziest option at all. And he should be low owned. I think that's a really good shout, actually. So yeah, especially if Sengun is not playing. I mean, the direct correlation there is Steven Adams.
More
So
Adams.
yeah, so I love that call, actually.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Again, probably wouldn't be in my first or second even lineup, but maybe third or fourth. Butler smash, what you on that one? Swerve asking about Jabari Smith. I brought up Tari Eason. I mean, Smith kind of similar in that he's probably going to get minutes. He does have a ceiling. Shouts out to Swerve, man. I think we probably should have talked about Jabari a little bit. I don't mind him. I mean, the minutes have been there. He's been pretty consistent. Kind of like a cheaper Draymond almost. Like, you're not going to get a crazy ceiling, but if you're looking for a floor in that price range, I definitely think there's worse plays. I don't hate it. Any Smith for you?
Um, yeah, he's okay. I do prefer like Brooks, and there's a guy that I'm going to mention here for the low and play of the day that's right around his price point as well. So, but yeah, I think he's okay.
Yeah, and I do want to say this too. I mean, we're thinking maybe if Sengun's minutes end up limited, that it's Adams who benefits directly. It could be Eason or Smith if they go a little bit smaller. The Warriors not the biggest team, but yeah, I probably wouldn't want two of those guys in the same lineup, being Eason, Smith, Adams, or even Sengun. So maybe just pick one of those four, but they all have some merit here. Again, you're playing a little bit of center roulette though, kind of tough to figure out exactly what to do with that. Then yeah, I think there's a cosign on your Brooks call from Tiez. Um, yeah, double big lineup. Maybe Adams isn't horrible. Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes some sense. I mean, they've used him at times. Other times he gets DNP'd, so he's just one of those guys. Wide range of outcomes, but limited slate. You're looking to get different. I don't think it's crazy. All right, Jayhawk. We refresh the model here. Sorting by. We'll start on DK, right? Go ahead and give us the low on play of the day, and then we'll start these dummy builds.
All right, so after long thinking, I thought about Zach Edey and having under on him. It's going to be Santi Aldama here, 5K flat for Memphis. I think they're going to need his scoring off the bench, especially in this spot. So Santi Aldama, low on play of the day.
I love it, man. Yeah, we started the show saying we were both low on Edie. I mean, it makes some logical sense to maybe get to some more Aldama. I will also say it might help Jackson a little bit, but yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
For me, I think since center stinks today, let's stay at center, right? Hartenstein for me. He's done really well in this matchup recently. 6,800 on both sides. We only have him for 26 minutes, and he's still scoring as one of the best values for OKC. A few extra minutes for him could go a really long way here. So we got Aldama, we got Hartenstein. Is that how we want to start our build, or should we start with the chalk?
Let's start out with SGA because I think we both really like him, right?
Yeah,
I think he can nuke this slate.
yeah, and then I think Pippen. I know we got a couple haters in him in chat, but I do like him. I think he's just going to have to play minutes here, especially if he starts. I'm comfortable using our two lower own plays here, and then we can kind of go chalk for a lot of this stuff. Let's go
That's good.
Aldama and let's go Hartenstein. Um, but yeah, that's a lot of Memphis OKC. So fingers crossed that game's close. Double fingers crossed it goes to OT. This is where this build's going to start us today. But yeah, we'll know very early how our day's going to look. Pods at 5K to me, something I maybe
Yep,
want to go to. Yeah, you like
odds
it?
for sure. You love
Yeah,
it.
rather get to him than Moody at similar ownership. Small forward. I mean,
We can
Butler's
parlay.
price. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're on the same page, man. Love to hear it. Okay. Forward, we got Brooks for cheap. Struce,
Struce is solid.
Highsmith. Yeah, I mean, there's a
Um,
lot to like, honestly. If you're looking for value today, we said, where's the value? I think it's actually at forward. We got Brooks down here. We got Smith or Easton if you want to go with one of them. Moody's the chalk, but we have Struce as a pivot, Highsmith as a pivot. Isaac, someone shouted out earlier. Let's go with Struce, though, right?
yeah, you get some Cleveland exposure there.
Nice. And then we're left with 5,100. Back to
Davion,
the well with Davion, right?
I like it. Yeah. It's a good build. That's a really good tournament build.
I like it a lot, man. Really, really solid. Take a look at FanDuel now. Are we still jamming SGA? I think we do.
Let's do it. Yeah, he's gonna nuke today. I just have a gut feeling about it.
Yeah, probably no Jimmy over here at 9,300. He's a fine play, but since we're playing him on DK, let's try to get a little different. Again, not a ton of great cheap guards. I still think we go to Pippen. Maybe he burns us, but I don't know. It's tough for me to get away from that. Are you in agreement on Pippen?
Yeah, let's get Pippen in there.
Um, I don't know. We didn't use him on the other site. Want to try Dylan Brooks over here?
Yeah, we can get Brooks in there. I'm cool with that. He's good.
Cool. Nice. Feel free to throw some names at me too. I'm going like position by position. Might not be the best way to build. Skipping around now. What's affordable? Like, what is the value on FanDuel? Let me take a quick look here. Sorting by value, Pippen's at the top. Jalen Williams, I mean, I like him more than Butler on FanDuel, and I like Butler more than Williams on DK. So maybe we go Jalen. Let's try to see what else is cheap. Let's go Draymond and Jalen Green, or not Jalen Green, Jalen Williams, and see where that gets us. So Draymond at his price makes sense. We're gonna have to find some value after this. Jalen Williams. I mean, if we move Draymond, we could go to someone like Aldama. We could just put him at center for now. I'm honestly
Yeah,
fine with that. You want to go
yeah.
Aldama?
Let's do it. Let's do it. I love him today.
Yeah, it's definitely a bullish take, but I do think point per dollar he makes sense, especially if we're trying to get away from ED chalk. 6,100 per. I mean, Wiggins to me makes sense.
Yeah,
Definitely pretty
definitely.
safe in that mid range. Struce more expensive here. Caruso more expensive here. Forward a little trickier. I guess we could take a Highsmith shot, or I don't know. Contract feels a little dicey. Or if we go cheap at shooting guard, we're looking at maybe KCP, who I know is gross. Gary Payton. Anything jumping out at you for cheap, or I don't
Let's
know.
since we don't have pods in this build, let's go one of Moody or Payton. Model loves Moody, but I'm good with either one.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta lean into some chalk. But look at this. This is what I was looking at earlier. You pull up his game log, and Golden State had been in must-win games, right?
Yeah,
Dude is playing the minutes. Like, how often is he getting over 20? One, two out of seven, eight? Like, that's just not enough for me. So, like, I'd rather go a little bit cheaper. Let's go Moody. And then we're left with 6,800 for a small forward. We may have to move some stuff around. It's Moody. So we can move Moody to small forward. Or not Moody. What am I saying? Myself. Forgive me, guys. Peyton. I wanted to move,
Payton.
but I don't think he has small forward eligibility. So maybe we do end up back on Moody, unless Brooks is small forward, and he does.
I
There
got
we go.
Payton.
Yeah. So we pull Brooks, put him as small forward. Okay.
Can we
Now we're
get
getting
Green in
there.
here?
What's that?
Can we afford
We
Jalen Green? Is he in
can.
that price?
Chef's kiss.
Dang,
Perfect.
perfect. That's what I like to see right there.
Beautiful. Two beautiful bills, in my opinion. Yeah, guys, about to get off the stream here. Oh, Aaron Wiggins. Yeah, I mean, we didn't really talk about him. Definitely fine mixing him in. So good shot against where you brought up Jabari and Wiggins. Two guys I think we should mix in for sure. So shouts out to you. Regular in the Discord, guys. Be like Swerve. Get in the Discord. Check out the links in the description below. Get behind that paywall. We're answering questions throughout the slate. People talking about pivots, things like that. Always there to help. Struce value helpful. So out of everybody in your build, who are top five core plays? For me, probably Pippen, SGA. I don't know. I like Hartenstein, Aldama. Throw some names out, Jayhawk. We do have to get out of there in
Draymond,
just a minute.
yeah, Draymond, Pods, maybe Jimmy too, and all those Golden State guys.
We have the real, I'm sure, Anthony Edwards in here saying anyone found Rui's ankles. Shouts out to Ant Man. I did call you Anthony Edwards in the Discord, so forgive me. Credit to you for coming back into the game. Jalen Williams for me, straight up for sure, big time. If you have the salary, how about you? I know we like Allen's price on DK, but I like Williams' upside way better.
Oh, Williams easily, not even close. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So again, happy Easter, happy 420, happy Sunday, happy playoffs, happy weekend. Happy day, everyone. Yeah, let's crush today. Let's see you at the top of the leaderboards. We also got the MLB plug live. Shouts out Chris who took care of it today, but part of the MLB team here at Occupy as well. I was saying to Jayhawk before the stream, how do you not play Jesus on Easter? Good day for Luzardo. So yeah, go ahead and fire him up against the Marlins. Let's crush both sports today, guys. Happy holidays. Have a great day and good luck.
Good luck, guys.